You guys are setting me up.
No, I promise you're not. Welcome to another edition of BeerAmerica.tv. I am Paul Leone with
John Pinkerton.
And we just happen to have Mr. Fritz Rahr with us. And we've done a couple of Rahr beers here in on BeerAmerica.tv. And we've done it because, you know, since I moved from Savannah, Georgia to Fort Worth, Texas, I wasn't really familiar with the beer scene. And of course, living in Fort Worth, Rahr is in Fort Worth. So you can see in a couple episodes we have here, we actually shot at your brewery. You didn't happen to be there at the time. You were somewhere in the country doing something in
hinterland.
Yes, exactly right. So welcome to the episode. Glad to have you. I was kind of griping to you a little bit off camera because it's the first time we've met about I had a bone to pick with you. And the reason why the bone I have to pick with you is this. I really like Buckingbach. I really like it. And it's a seasonal, right? Mm-hmm. But I think to me, and John and I actually reviewed the beer last night, and my thing is, and I understand the whole concept behind seasonals and limited editions, but I thought that beer was good enough to be a year-round beer. We actually talked a little bit about that last night. One you could join in the spring, summer, and even in the winter. There was just something about it that I really, really enjoyed, and you even kind of agreed a little bit with that.
Oh, yeah. It's a very drinkable beer. Yeah. Malty goodness.
Well, you know, the problem that we've had, when we first came out with the Bach, everybody loved it. We want it year-round. So we listened to them, and we had it year-round.
And nobody
and the sales were great for, you know, an extra two months. Mm-hmm. And then the bottom just fell out. It was just like, okay, yeah, great, we've had it now. Yeah, it was really, really good. It's still really, really good, but we're moving on to something different. And, you know, that's just kind of the way it is. Yeah. A lot of a good thing stops becoming, I think, a really good thing. And that's why we try to mix it up and have, you know, every odd month we have one of our seasonals coming out, and then every even month we have one of our bomber 22-ounce beers coming out. So keep it different, keep it lively, and, you know, with the understanding, I hope people think, oh, yeah, the Bach is great. Yeah, we'll wait for it next year again, and it'll be just as great again next year. And
I'll be drinking it again.
And we'll definitely look forward to it. And I understand what you mean about not being able to get it year round, but you know, we went down that road once already, and it didn't really work because we had, you know, our 5 core brands out there, and it was just really difficult to introduce a 6th one as a year round beer. It kind of hurt everything, to be perfectly honest. We saw sales dip almost in every brand avenue.
What are the 5 core brands?
It's the Blonde Lager, the Texas Red, the Ugly Pug, and the Storm Cloud.
What was the Ugly Pug? I remember tasting all these at the brewery, but I don't remember.
Well, the Ugly Pug is a German-style black beer.
Oh, yeah, the Schwarzbier. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all...
When we were there, you were doing the barrels, which Scooter Hendon owes me, by the way.
Oh, you just missed it. We just did I did my little seminar thing, and we all at the end had barrel-aged Winter Warmer at the end.
He's got one for me, and he keeps insisting that he's going to give it to me.
Well, he was talking about how he had one. He still kept it cold. He didn't mention you.
Yeah, of course
he mentioned he had one.
Thank you. Yeah,
he's forgotten about us.
Of course he has, because I was supposed to get that, actually.
Well, maybe you still will.
When we were there. Yeah, actually, we were there in, was it December, maybe? No, November. I don't know when it was.
A lot of beer under the fridge, so to speak.
And so, yeah, I'm dying to try that. But here's and I said to John, when I first moved here, I had a couple of your beers, and you guys seem to be really venturing out a little bit now. You guys, and just to let everybody know, we sort of talked about it when we were there. You had a bit of an accident, not an accident, but your roof collapsed.
The roof did collapse, and
yeah, go ahead and talk about that, because was it really a godsend in a way? You guys now have expanded?
Well, I think so. You know, right before the roof collapse, we saw our brands really starting to take off. I mean, we really saw a lot of growth opportunities, a lot of new business coming in, a lot of new avenues and areas to market and sell our beer. And then the roof came down, and we all thought, what a horrible thing this has been. But in actuality, it's turned out to be, you know, a real blessing in disguise. It allowed us 5 months to kind of retool, re-engineer the way we did business, which we really needed to do because we were hemorrhaging at so many different areas, and we didn't have the time, money to stop doing things and recreate ourselves a little bit. Mm-hmm. With the roof being down, the 5 months gave us that opportunity to kind of take a step back, take a look at what we were doing, and really get a little bit more creative in how we did things and do things a lot smarter, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we did some re-engineering of the brew house, which cut out 7 hours out of each brew.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because we were doing so many different transfers to get beer from here to here to here. Instead of 7 transfers, we now have 1 transfer. So we've cut
7 hours is a lot.
So
we're talking man hours.
We've cut 6 or 7 45-minute transfers out of the whole process, which has created a much better beer, and the employees are a lot happier because they're not up there. Well, we're up there all hours now anyways because we're brewing around the clock for 3 days, but just that kind of thing has really been a real help to how we do things. So was the roof collapse horrible? Yeah. I'm glad nobody was there. I'm glad nobody was hurt. But it's really become a blessing in disguise. And, it's allowed us to do a lot of different things. When we came back into the marketplace, places like the grocery stores and liquor stores, they kept our little spot empty. As almost like a memorial until we had beer back. So we went back in. We didn't lose any space. As a matter of fact, we gained market share just by coming back in. And when that happened, our core products really took off again. And
that is a blessing.
We've tripled the business since then, and because of that, it's afforded us the opportunities to go out and try these really fun things in these 22-ounce bombers that we're doing now, we have a new beer coming out next week. And that's the Pecker Imperial Bohemian Rye
Pilsner.
Pilsner.
Pecker.
And come on, so Woodpecker in a tow truck, man. Where are you going with that?
What I was thinking. Of course you were.
So that's exciting. We're able to do these kind of things, and that's really now taking us to the next level. So we're currently brewing at 15,000 barrels a year, and next year we've got ambitious goals. We want to be at 25 to 30,000 barrels by the end of next year.
Right on.
So your little Fort Worth brewery is growing, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Good, yeah. And it's nice living here and having that down the road. But talk a little bit too for those who don't know, who might say, "Gosh, that Rahr name, it sounds kind of familiar." Talk a little bit about your family history.
Well, I've been very fortunate. Everyone asks me how I got involved in the beer industry, and I was kind of born into a beer family, so it's kind of a great place to be. But my great-great-grandfather came over from Germany in 1847 and set up, from what I understand, the very first lager brewery in the state of Wisconsin. So before Pabst or Heilemann, Miller or Blatz, we had the Rahr Brewery in Manitowoc, and then about 5-6 years after that, we had the 2 other breweries in Green Bay and Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now the brewery in Manitowoc also made malt for beer. They supplied their own needs, plus they made so much, they supplied the surrounding market in that area. And after Prohibition, they decided to not go back into brewing, but just to continue making malt for beer, which is what they still do today, and they'll be celebrating their 165th anniversary.
Right.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
It's exciting. It was a great place to grow up. I mean, I remember as a kid going to the beer conventions all over the world and being surrounded by beer at a very, very young age, and that was a kind of a neat thing. I mean, it gave you a whole new perspective on beer and alcohol in general. And when I was little, my dad always said, I'd rather see you with a can of beer in your hand than a can of Coke.
Nice.
in your hand.
Good dad.
Yeah, great dad.
Great dad.
And so I'd take off the top of my baby bottle and I'm just kidding. So it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of rich history in the Rahr family in making malt in the beer industry, and it's just a great industry in itself to be a part of. It's the last bastion of, I think, real tradition, other than maybe the distilling market maybe and things like that, to where there aren't as many breweries around, but you still have a lot of the old families and everyone's still working together. And even though I remember growing up, they were all competitors, so to speak, but they were all best friends too. I mean, I grew up hanging around not necessarily the families of the Millers and the Bushes and stuff, but the management and the people, and everybody was always very together about where the industry was going, how the things were being dealt with, and it was a lot of fun. It was very refreshing, and
that's very cool.
And the thing that's really neat about it is the craft beer segment is a lot like that today. We've got a lot of great Texas breweries, and I'm happy to say that we're friends with them, and we enjoy their company, and we hang out and we do things, and we're all out there supporting each other, and that's the way we want it to go, because we're all fighting the same battle against the big players in the market who've got a lot more deep pockets and resources. So it's important that we all support each other, and in that in itself is just a lot of fun and refreshing. So it's exciting to see what's going on in Texas right now.
No doubt. Makes me wish I was in Texas.
Yeah, instead of southern Georgia. No, that's good. Well, Fritz, thanks so much for joining us. Show a little bit, everybody, the beers that you brought.
All right, can you guys see this?
Hold it right up there. There you go. See,
this is the blonde lager.
The blonde lager. There we go.
That good-looking woman on the cover is my mother.
Oh, really? See, there's always a lot in labels. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. And even in names, we had talked about, you know, the names that go into beer.
Yeah, my mom was Miss Minnesota 1952. She was second runner-up Miss USA pageant 1952.
Look at you.
She was a Juilliard opera singer graduate.
Nice.
And she's smoking hot.
Yes, she is.
I know it's really weird for this.
I mean,
I'm sure Freud would have something to say about that, but she was drop dead gorgeous.
Yes, she was.
And
calendar girl.
And then we got the Texas Red, which was the Rahr's Red.
Okay.
But because we do the beer for the Texas Rangers, we make the Texas Red there.
Okay.
So we'll keep it simple. We'll just do Texas Red.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Storm Cloud is our British style IPA.
Okay.
And that is a British style, so it's got a lot of earthy granola, dirty English hops in it, not big citrus, Pacific Northwest hop bombs. It's a very traditional British style. And I think All About Beer just judged this and rated it 92
on the
scale of the British India Pale Ales. And I think it was one of like 4 that was in the 90 category for the country. So that was exciting.
Very cool.
And then this is our best seller.
Ugly Pug.
This is Oscar, the Ugly Pug.
That's your best seller. That's cool.
And unfortunately, and it's a traditional German black beer, Schwarzbier. It's got a nice roast, a little slight coffee, chocolate, maybe some undertones there. It's very dry, crisp, easy to drink. It's very sessionable. And that's Oscar, and unfortunately he passed away last week. So we're actually going to be doing a pug crawl in Fort Worth next week.
Nice. This is what I love about the craft beer. That's the creativeness in all of it.
And all the proceeds go to Pug Rescue.
Okay.
And in honor of Oscar the Pug Dog.
Before we wrap up, any GABF medals?
We don't have any GABF medals.
What does it mean to you, though? Some brewers say, you know, it means a lot to me, and some just like to go and say, you know what, I like to go to GABF because all my peers are there. I mean, where do you stand on that issue?
I think when people say they don't really care, I think deep down inside they like to see a medal. It just kind of gives you credibility to what you're doing. You know, but we don't necessarily brew our beers to the GABF style guidelines. We brew our core brands to be beers to be easily drank in Texas. Still a lot of full body, but light, crisp, and you know, they just don't necessarily fit the guidelines of what or what the GABF says under the BJCP guidelines. Sure, it'd be nice to win a medal. I'm not going to lie to you.
You enter every year?
Yeah, and we enter every year, and we get good comments coming back. But a lot of the comments are like, well, there's just more. There's more beers that are closer to style in the category, and I can accept that. But as long as people keep drinking my beer and we keep growing, that doesn't really. Oh well.
Okay.
But it would be nice to get a medal. But we did get a medal at the World Beer Cup, which is pretty cool.
Excellent.
So for the Bucking Bach.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we were voted the second best in the world for that year.
I think that's arguably for that style in particular. That's arguably a even higher honor.
So I'll take a World Beer Cup medal.
Yeah, why not?
So
outstanding.
But we've done really well in like the LA County Fair, the United States Beer Tasting Championships, the more smaller competitions.
Sure.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. One day we'll get one, I think.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
And it'll feel great when you do.
Yeah.
And it'll feel great when we do.
Well, Fritz Rahr, thanks for joining us on BeerAmerica.tv, and we hope to make it next time.
Cheers to you.
Next time we hope to make it back to your place and maybe shoot some more blogs there.
That'd be cool.
If you'll
You're
have
always
us.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Cheers.